All right. Well, I'm headed to the gym this morning and I'm thinking about language and wondering what are the possibilities of language, as well as what are the different applications of some of the principles that I've been studying and learning about. What are their various use cases? How can they be applied to my words? And what is possible when I apply those principles to my words? So I guess we'll begin with influence. Influence defined by me in my document on influence is when a person's words or actions become a causing agent to create the effect of another person thinking a certain way, speaking a certain way, or doing a certain thing as a result of something that we said or did. That would be influence. And there are two types of influence. There's short-term influence, where my words or my actions are a causing agent for someone else's words, actions. But what we really want to influence is actions, not words so much. Yes, words we can influence. But if a person is taking action and doing so consistently, then typically they will have learnings that perhaps will be much deeper and more far-reaching than anything I could teach them about their words with my words. Now, if I'm teaching them things about words or thoughts or ideas, expanding their minds, expanding their vocabulary, if I'm teaching them things that they perceive to be entertaining, inspiring, or useful, then they will perhaps make the decision to want to be around me more long term versus a one-time interaction. So if I'm using my words with the aims to teach them something useful, entertaining, or inspiring, and my words and actions are not aimed directly at influencing their actions at the moment, but instead I'm aiming my words at teaching them something useful, entertaining, or inspiring, and I do that consistently, then longer term influence is achieved. Now, back to the short-term influence. If I'm wanting to influence someone in the short term, then my words should be aimed at their actions. And primarily with sales and marketing, my type of business, my words should be aimed at the importance of taking action, getting started, deciding to buy, making a decision to fill out the form and get started. That is the short-term action that I want people to take as I use my words to influence short-term action. What other type of action do I want to influence with my words? I want to influence once they make a decision to get started, fill out the form, buy all the products that make sense to them, that can help them on their journey forward in the best way. So getting started, buying products, getting all in with HBA if it makes sense to them. Then after that, all of my words from an action standpoint should be aimed at influencing them to take action consistently over time so they can get the results that they desire. Now, what kind of action should my words be aimed at inspiring them to take consistently over time? Well, ambiguously speaking, the most ambiguous form of action, short-term and long-term action that I could influence people to take would be to take action, grow your business, stay in the game, keep moving forward, making the decision to stay plugged in to the people who can help you get the results you desire. Make a decision to read, make a decision to continue learning, make a decision to continue growing, make a decision to stay on the path of the Freedom Crusader. These are all more ambiguous levels of influencing someone's actions long term. And yes, these are all good things to do with my words, to influence people's actions long term in an ambiguous way. Because when I aim my words at influencing someone's actions, and I do it in a little more of an ambiguous way, I'm allowing people more space and freedom with my language to build their business in the best way they know how, to build their business in a way that's most comfortable and exciting for them, to build their business in a way where they have a lot more choice. My language has included much more range of choice as to how they are going to be building their business. Now, since success is 80% why and 20% how, doesn't it make sense that most of my language is aimed at the why of taking action now and long term than it is the specific how? And if I do get into the how, again, most of my language should be aimed at the why of the how, and a very, very small percentage on the how. And if I do want to give more specific action now items, invitation items, suggestion items, I can move my language down a level. I can imagine aiming my language at action in an ambiguous way, sort of like a rung up the ladder, a ladder with rungs that maybe goes into the cloud. So I can imagine Jacob's ladder going up into heaven. And when I aim my language at the top rung of that ladder and speak in an ambiguous way as to why to take action now and over time, again, I'm using my words to influence action now and action long term, in the highest and most ambiguous of ways, which is going to include the most people. And I can chunk my language down and aim my words at more specific action items. And whenever I chunk down from where my language is aimed, it's as if I'm targeting a rung down on the ladder of action. So I could move my language from take action now type language down a rung and say something like why building a home business is the most important thing you can do, and why you want to grow a residual income and a home-based business consistently over time. And that would be one rung down. So highest rung would be taking action now to build a life of freedom, taking action now and in the future to grow a residual income stream, to move your life forward in a way that's going to produce the future you desire. And one rung down would be, and you may want to consider taking action now, not just in any business, not just in any way that can move your life forward and help you produce the life that you desire, but it might be a good thing to consider building a home-based business, be that network marketing or affiliate marketing, because when you take action now and in the future in these types of businesses, you're gaining a lot of benefits that aren't available typically in a more general level business. And that's why it's a good thing to take action now, growing your network marketing or affiliate marketing business every day, in every way you possibly can, consistently over time. So the next rung down would be for me to say it's a good thing to take action in one or the other types of businesses. So I could begin to make distinctions about affiliate marketing over network marketing and how affiliate marketing could be considered a better way to grow residual income. But the moment I start to compare, I begin to potentially alienate one group or the other. However, it is possible to use my language in a way where I can reframe and position my words so that I'm helping people subtly see the advantages versus the disadvantages without making one good or bad or right or wrong. And this would be one use case where the power of word selection, specifically the ability to use content reframing and potentially context reframing, might be a good thing as I'm talking about the differences between things. And then on the action ladder, language aiming metaphor. So as I move my language action targeting down another rung, I can begin to invite people to take action in more specific ways. I can invite people to do things like create YouTube videos, grow an email list, connect and close via social media, drive traffic via various strategies, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whichever ways. I could use my language to invite people to use drop cards. I could use my language to invite people to put business cards in fish bowls at restaurants. I could invite people to do a wide variety of very specific things. However, the moment I begin to become too steeped in a specific strategy on the how is when I have the potential for becoming boring, repetitive, and tyrannical in my invitations as to how people should build their business, and also potentially less entertaining, less useful, and less inspiring. So again, when I dip down into the specific invitation, I want to do this in a way where I'm spending a very short amount of time on this and leaving space, always letting people know this is just one of the many different things they can do to grow their businesses. And the specific way they choose to grow their business is way less important than the decision that they make to grow their business and build a life of freedom long term. And it's probably a good thing that as I'm targeting these various ladder rungs with my language and reminding myself that as I'm speaking, I can always be inviting people to do good things, which is another way to target someone's action with my language that is non-specific, freedom and choice filled, and also something that many people can already agree with. So this is a way that I can invite people to do good things with their actions without becoming so specific that I lose people or bore people. The point, though, is that whenever I'm speaking, I can always be using my language to target actions. And I can do this while I am using my words to be inspiring and be useful and be entertaining. And it's not even necessary that I spend an hour training on a specific strategy, although I can do that from time to time, and that wouldn't be something that's not good. It probably is more useful to use the majority of my communication being inspiring, entertaining, and useful, and scattering my invitation action arrows or love boomerangs, I could call them, because when I give an invitation for someone to take action, by and large, I'm always and only going to invite people to do the things that I've done or am currently doing. So when I'm sending out one of these love boomerang invitation action items, I'm sending them out from myself, hoping that they'll be caught by the people I'm sending them to be utilized by them, and then to come right back to me so I can continue to utilize those things. I can scatter those love boomerangs all throughout my communication. So it's not important, nor is it anywhere near as effective, these invitation action items. It's not as important, nor is it as effective to spend a lot of time doing nothing but inviting someone to take action. Instead, what is better is to tell stories and scatter my love boomerangs all throughout my communication. So as I'm telling an inspiring story, or as I'm telling a useful story, or as I'm telling an entertaining story, I can be scattering my love boomerangs, aka invitation statements, that are directed at impacting someone's actions, I can be scattering those all throughout my communication. Now, the interesting thing to consider is that my love boomerangs need not only be targeted at someone's actions. And there's a question of how effective is my communication at inspiring people to take action if those are the only types of love boomerangs I'm throwing out. Because another distinction to be made is that there are different places I can target my invitations and suggestions that might help to bring someone to a space where they will begin to take action consistently today and tomorrow and far off into the future. And yes, repetitiously suggesting that this is a good thing to do probably should be something I continue to do, which is something I already do, obviously. And some other places I can direct my love boomerangs might be to a person's identity, might be to certain types of beliefs. And if beliefs about self are identity, what other types of beliefs could I target my language when we get to the belief category? Well, I could target my language to beliefs about money, beliefs about people, beliefs about possibility, beliefs about future, beliefs about forgiveness, beliefs about self-love, beliefs about acceptance, beliefs about change. These are some ones that are top of mind as I'm thinking about the different ways to target my language, because as I target my language in all of those areas, what I could be doing is creating a space where when a person does feel that people are good, that they are accepted, that they are loved, that they can move forward in life free from restraints, I'm creating a space where the actions sort of naturally flow out of a desire of love and to do the right thing and to do good things and to build something great that's worth building. So those are some specific use target areas that are top of mind for me that I could target my love boomerangs outside of specifically taking action. I could say that in addition to inviting people to take action with my words, I also want to create a space with my words by targeting various beliefs. And yes, targeting various beliefs that help to create a space and an environment where action flows naturally out of a desire to move forward in the most enlightened of ways. And another place I can target my love action boomerangs would be, and this wouldn't be an action boomerang, so to speak, it would be a suggestion around capabilities. An example of using my language to target capabilities would be the belief we have in our community that all we see are possibilities. Would be the quote from Jesus, "All things are possible to them that believe." Would be statements around the unlimited potential of each individual and how isn't it true that we can do all things with consistency and dedication and focus. That would be an example of using my language to target what people can do and to expand what people can do. Those are the capability level targets that we can direct our language. So the next level would be what people do. And we've already covered that rung with the action level targeting. And the next level would be environment. So I can use my language to target environmental level suggestions. And these would be suggestions perhaps around statements like, when you decide to change your social environment and begin investing more time with the people who love you and serve you and teach you and believe in you and lift you up, it's amazing to consider what is possible. And it's not that those things weren't possible before. It's just that changing your environment and getting in a space where the possibilities are cultivated and highlighted rather than suppressed and diminished, what really happens is you see those possibilities. Your environment has a direct impact on your ability to see the possibilities that are always there. It's just that your vision can be dampened when you're around people who don't yet have the expanded vision that others do. So isn't it a good thing to decide to get into an environment where your vision is expanded and your identity as a divine spark of the infinite is highlighted and encouraged and cultivated? Isn't that a good thing? And isn't it true that in many cases, when you get around people like that and you have that change of environment, isn't it true that you can discover that you're so much more than you may have thought you were, and you can do so much more than you may have thought you could do, and you can achieve purposes in life that could have astounded you before you made that shift to change your environment? So really what I've talked about today is using my language in a way that's inspiring, useful, and entertaining. And while I'm using my language in a way that's inspiring, useful, and entertaining, primarily through storytelling, because storytelling is naturally inspiring, entertaining, and useful, I can be telling inspiring, entertaining, and useful stories, and I can be teaching things within that framework. And teaching things really is just an example of giving invitations as to what people should do in a sequence. So telling people what to do in a sequence through a teaching situation is really the same as telling stories while giving people the steps. And the steps, when framed in suggestions, is a better way to do it. The steps directed within an inspiring, entertaining, and useful story pattern is more effective than something like, today I'm going to teach you the 5 steps to ranking a video on YouTube. Slide 1, step 1, do this. Slide 2, step 2, do this. Slide 3, step 3, do this. I'm telling people what to do, but I'm doing it in a way where my steps are not framed as elegantly as they could be had they been placed in the form of suggestions and embedded within inspiring, entertaining, and useful stories. So that's really the difference between a traditional teaching style webinar or presentation. That's the difference between that and offering to teach A, B, C, X, Y, Z, but then launching into that teaching interaction with inspiring, entertaining, and useful stories, and then embedding the steps within the story framework and then also embedding within the story framework the various invitations that can be given all up and down the ladder of invitations, which would include the action invitations. And as I think about this and talk about this out loud, I'm coming to the conclusion that the ladder of suggestions is not a ladder of action suggestions. It's just the ladder of suggestions. And perhaps the best way to explain the ladder of suggestions would be to begin at the bottom and mention how the first rung is identity, the second rung is beliefs, the third rung is capabilities, the fourth rung is the actions that we take, the next rung is environment, and that ladder of invitations can be given in ways that are described on the next few rungs above it. So the next few rungs above it might include things like direct and indirect suggestions, might include framing these suggestions with various language patterns like hierarchy of importance, like metaphor, analogy, like all the various language patterns I can use to target those suggestions. And then above those language patterns, we can include a couple other rungs toward the top about ambiguity and specificity, which really would just be an example of chunking. So chunking is inside the language patterns. So we could include, really the ladder could be A, B, C, D, E, and then the various choice of language patterns that we use to direct our language at A, B, C, D, E, while we are teaching useful, entertaining, and inspiring stories. Hey there, my friend. This is Paul. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this audio today. I truly hope that it's been valuable and beneficial to you as you hopefully have picked up some learnings that you can carry with you on your freedom journey as you continue moving forward, upward and onward to better things. And while you're here, I want to practice what I preach to myself in this audio and give you an invitation, which of course you are free to accept or not accept. That is always a choice that we have in front of us, to follow the invitations that people we trust, respect, and admire are giving to us or not. And hopefully I'm becoming someone that you feel you can trust, respect, or admire. That's my goal. I always want to be that kind of a person for myself. And the hope is that as I am that person for myself, others can see that as well. So here's the invitation. I want to tell you just quickly about a short conversation I had with someone in our community this last week. This is an individual that I've known for a few years now. And this last year, he was able to leave his job and step into his dream of being a full-time home business entrepreneur. And I had sent this person something in the mail, and he had sent me an audio message to thank me for that thing that I'd sent him in the mail. And as we were talking, and as I was listening to his words, one of the things that I noticed was that he was thanking me not for something specific that I taught him, but he was thanking me for the opportunity that he had had to be around me for the last couple of years. He said being around me had helped him to produce changes that empowered him in some way to step into the power that he already had and become a full-time home business entrepreneur. And he said that a couple of times through the course of our conversation, that being around me had had a positive impact on his entrepreneurial journey. And just like I mentioned in this audio, one of the levels of change that we can use to move ourselves forward in the best ways is the E on the rung of the ladder of influence, which stands for environment. I have also found on my journey that being around people who are being in the way that I want to be is one of the biggest factors, or has been one of the biggest factors in helping me step into that which I wanted to be. Spending time with people where we can more intimately observe their actions, their thoughts, their beliefs, more closely allow their words to fall upon our hearts and minds. This is one of the best things we can do to change and create the results that we want in life. And so the invitation here is, if you want to be around me more and invest more time with me, we have set up our business in such a way where I am live at least 6 times a week inside of our business model. We have an hour every day where my business partner and I, as well as other great leaders who are always inspiring me to be better and step into better things, we're live for an hour with the community. And if you want to be closer to me, this is one of the best ways you can do it, is to visit pipelinemoney.com, watch the presentation, and get started for $25, and make sure and check the box that gives you the 2-week upgrade to premium, the 2-week free trial to premium, because it's in our premium product where I have and we have all of our best training, everything that was of greatest importance and use value to me in helping me to go from living in a single wide mobile home to retiring debt-free 10 years later. That's all in that product. So not only will you be able to learn all of those best lessons inside our digital product suite, you'll be able to tune into our live masterminds where you can interact with me every day for an hour a day. I would love to be able to spend as much personal one-on-one time with as many people as I could. There are a lot of people that want to be with me one-on-one for coaching and advice and relationship and feedback and inspiration, so on and so forth. The unfortunate reality, though, is that as I've continued to produce bigger results in my business, the number of people that want my personal time far surpasses the actual time I have in a day. And this has been both exciting and happy and very cool and frustrating at the same time, because I do love to spend time, one-on-one time with people. It's just that my time is so limited with running the company and with all of the people that are getting to know my name and my training and reaching out to me for help. So the good news, though, is that we've systematized this in such a way that as many people as want to can be around me and my business partner and our most influential, heart-centered community leaders on a daily basis as they want. There's no limit to the number of people that can plug into these live masterminds. And you might be surprised at the level of interaction that we engage in on these masterminds. So in any case, if this is something that sounds like a thing that could help you change in the way that you want to change and move forward in the way that you want to move forward here in the coming new year, I would love to invite you to visit pipelinemoney.com, put your name and email in. You'll be subscribed to my list if you're not already subscribed to my list, and you'll see the business model that we created that is producing phenomenal results for people. By the way, we recently crossed $3 million in commissions paid to people. That's money that is going right into people's bank accounts, making a difference. And so we're producing great results financially, and we're also producing great results spiritually, I would say, because we are focused on being principle-centered, which means that we're not willing to do anything and everything you can do just to make a buck. The only things that we allow ourselves to do are the things that are profitable, effective, productive, and also those things that make people and the world a better place at the same time, always helping and never harming, always lifting and never putting down. That's a little bit of what it means to be principle-centered. And in part of that, we give back. We donate a portion of all the sales that we bring into our company to an organization called Feed My Starving Children. And to date, we're at about 200,000 days of meals to this great organization. So we get a tremendous sense of soul pay as we're continuing to grow our residual incomes and growing our freedom and spreading freedom and possibility and goodness and lifestyle and dream realization as far and as wide as we possibly can. So if that resonates with you, again, pipelinemoney.com. And regardless, please leave me your comments down below this video. I'd love to know if this audio/video was helpful for you today. And thanks for tuning in. I love you, believe in you, and whatever you do, always go for your dreams. Paul with pipelinemoney.com signing out. Make it a great day and Merry Christmas.